I guess we're not doing Ted Dabrowski's theme music today. Ted Dabrowski is president of Wirepoints, wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. It turns out that BLM Brandon can't make time in his schedule to go with the alder humans to visit the border and implore Texans to give them the heads up when the next buses will arrive.
Listen, it's a big burden being the mayor of Chicago and also being a husband and a father.
Just to clarify, when is a team?
Soon as possible. Look, I'm still running a major city.
Whining.
I have children who attend schools who have soccer games, y'all. You know, you all are asking me as if I'm not a parent in this city. I get it, I'm mayor. I get it, but you're asking me to give you a date, and I have to court. Do you understand that you have not had a mayor like me? I get that. I have a wife, I have children, they have schedules. And plus, we still have public safety that we have to address. We still have the unhoused that we have to address. I still have a budget that I have to address. And I'm doing all of that with a black wife raising 3 black children on the west side of the city of Chicago. I am going to the border as soon as possible. But I got to coordinate that with running the government and making sure that my wife and children are secure as well. Thank you, Lawrence.
I mean, it still makes me gasp every time I hear that if a woman acted like that. Because, you know, we have burdens with these things called children and schedules. He's a joke. So he didn't speak to the media yesterday. He had his senior advisor, Jason Lee. What's wrong, Dan? He had his senior advisor, Jason Lee, describe and tell us why he's not going.
But things are moving and shifting so quickly that information changes and even personnel changes. There's been elections on the border, different administrations in place. We need to build relationships with folks on the ground now. We're going to be sharing accurate information. I mean, there's no question what the weather the challenge the weather conditions present in this city. Housing continues to be a challenge as we try to find more and more shelter beds.
Did you find an answer in that as to why he's not going?
First of all, I don't give a rat's ass if he goes or not. What point is there for him to go? The whole thing is a big PR stunt anyway. What is he going to do at the border any different than he's doing in the mayor's office? But that's the first point. Like Brandon Johnson going to the border is going to redound to some benefit for Chicagoans or change the policy in the city. Obviously, it's not. That's number one. Number two is, oh, by the way, I'm different than any other mayor. We've had mayors with school-age children before. Tiny Dancer.
Lori Lightfoot.
Richard.
Jay Daly.
M. Daly.
Yeah. We've never not had a mayor who hasn't had the burdens of, being a parent and having this job.
Well, we have had mayors that haven't. We have had mayors that have not had that burden.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, regardless, it's just the whole thing is sophistry, and it is for, I don't know, I guess the people that go to the Chicago public schools and their parents and grandparents who went to the Chicago public schools who can't read or do math. And I mean that literally. This is not some generic smear. This is based on the scores emanating from those black and brown neighborhoods, because remember, under the leadership of this party for the last 100 years, the new Marxists and the machine politicians, same party, this is the most de facto segregated city in the country, big city in the country. And those neighborhoods, they profess so much concern and care about the alder humans that represent them through the annals of Chicago history, the mayors, particularly the last two. Frankly, go back to Harold Washington. Go back to Tiny Dancer. He played racial politics, too. And here we have this report from Wirepoints, wirepoints.org, of course, that details the homicides and the test scores, the proficiency in reading and math in the 20 most violent and poorly educated, and of course there's correlation there, neighborhoods in the city. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Ted Dabrowski, president, wirepoints.org. Thanks, Ted. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
So I'm looking at this report, and I see Chatham, where Stacey Davis Gates lives, the head of CTU, 26 homicides this year, and the reading proficiency is 16%, and the math proficiency is 10%. I can see why she wanted to send her kid out of the neighborhood to a private school.
Well, exactly. And the school that, NBC reported that the school that her son would have gone to, Harlan Academy, it was just 5 out of 100 kids who could read, and in math, 3 out of 100. So, you've got the violence. You don't want to send your kid to a high school once these kids get older, there's more of them involved in crime, as we know. And so you put that lethal combination of violence and criminals, even young ones, and then none of them can read at grade level, and many of them aren't even close to reading at grade level. It's not that they can't read at grade level; they may be 3 and 4 years behind. So it's toxic. And what do you want parents to do? And this always comes back to the same discussion we keep having. Right? There's no plan. There's no plan. Absolutely no plan. They don't even. I'm not even sure that they know these numbers in government. But
they don't want to.
It's no wonder,
for sure.
or they don't want to. So it's no wonder that Stacey Davis Gates, in all her hypocrisy, took her kid out of the school. And it's what every parent should do who's down there trapped in this kind of environment.
And to put this in context, the violence too. I mean, you did a nice job in this report. So the city with the highest murder, big city with the highest murder per capita rate in the country is New Orleans, at 74 people per 100,000. These neighborhoods that we're talking about on the city's south and west sides, they're at double that or more in terms of homicide rate per resident.
Yeah, and of course we're comparing a small community to a bigger city, New Orleans, right? But nevertheless, what it tells you is right that the worst city in the country, when you look at the whole city, New Orleans, right, it's 70-something per every 100,000 in population. Well, you've got places like, and these are rates, right? So they're used for apples to apples comparison. But West Garfield Park is 160 per 100K. So double that of New Orleans. You've got others that West Englewood 100. These are very, very scary places to live, and you can understand why they don't want their kids outside, or you also understand why kids who are playing in their front porch get shot. I can't tell you how bad it is, and it brings us around to what do you want these families to do, and it's why so many black families leave Chicago, and they're right to. We've talked about them moving to Houston, to Dallas, to Atlanta, because there is no opportunity here. There is no entrepreneurship here. There's just a toxic environment that you want to flee it. And until something changes, we get back to school choice. Until they have something else to choose from, they're either trapped, they'll flee, or they hope for something better. Just keep hoping, and the hope doesn't seem to arrive.
Although they're not doing nothing. Let's be fair. They are spending money to renovate schools.
Yeah.
$14 billion.
We reported on that. $14 billion. That's 50% more than what the whole school district spends on a yearly basis. And they want to put money into empty schools. I mean, we're talking about schools that have just 30 or 40 students in the school when they should be housing 1,000 students, and they want to spend billions on those. The numbers are phenomenal. It's a pure waste of money. Well, it's not a waste of money. It's a way for them to reward the administrators and the teachers and the
contractors.
The contractors, exactly. You keep these schools open. People are making lots of money from empty, failing schools.
It's staggering. The topic that we opened the segment with, talking about the situation with 11,000 migrants spread across the city right now, with more coming and older humans going down to the border. We talked about this a bit yesterday. It's something I think that resonates with people because it's so easy to understand and so in your face. $400 million budgeted by Jelly Belly and the luminaries in Springfield for rental assistance that looks like it's going to be mainly used to entice communities not named Chicago, along with the other grant funding, to bring migrants into their communities and provide all of the benefits that Chicago is providing. $9,000 over 6 months, so $1,500 a month, plus moving assistance. I don't know how much they have to move. They're shipping their furniture from Caracas? Probably not. But also a furniture starter kit. That's nice little benefit package for people who are largely in this country illegally.
Yeah, I actually, this past Saturday, I got tired of reading the reports by, guys like Rick Pearson at Chicago Tribune, who I think do a very faulty job of reporting what's happening. So I went down to Larrabee and Division, the 18th District Police Station, and just got into the middle of the mix with a lot of Venezuelans there. I wanted to hear it for myself and talk to them myself. So, it is a disaster what they've done, what we've done here. This whole open border, sanctuary status for the city, sanctuary status for the state. It's attracting all these people, and giving them false hope, and then they come here. And I saw families, two families with little kids. You're talking about 3-year-olds, and they were just on the sidewalk all day. They had no tents, no anything. And so, it really it's a crushing humanitarian issue, but at the same time, it makes no sense to provide to open up the borders like this when we can't even take care of our own. And you can understand why the blacks are so upset. They're taking money now from things that should be working to what we just talked about, improve schools or reduce crime, and they're taking that money and giving it to a bunch of people who are here illegally and either tricked or hoodwinked or given incentive to come here. And there's no plan, Dan. I was down there, and it's a pathetic experience.
Sad.
For all these tents on the sidewalk. They've taken over the police station, and zero plan. And people are just sitting around saying, "We don't know what we're doing. We want to work, but there's no plan. We don't know how to get work papers. They don't tell us anything. They just wait around for people to bring hot dogs and things like that who are volunteers who are helping out."
Well, and also Brandon Johnson's make-believe budget that he passed, or is trying to pass, $150 million is going to immigration. It's going to be 30 or 300 million easily, and that's going to only last a few weeks or a few months, I should say. Because they're banking on state and federal aid, but that might not come.
Well, exactly, and I think the whole lie of this budget is that we're talking about the migrants who have made it here under these asylum, et cetera. Well, there's been over 8 million people total across the border in the last whatever it is 3 years. When you count everybody, and we're going to have many more people than these 18,000. We're going to have hundreds of thousands come over the border into Illinois. And so when you start racking up the Medicaid costs that nobody seems to know what they are, you start racking up the school costs, right? Because there's going to be a lot of school children. There's going to be all kinds of transfer payment costs. We're talking billions. And I think New York State, New York City has been much more honest about what it's going to cost them. We're talking about still here, hundreds of millions. No, it's going to be billions. And it's going to come out of the hides of other people who deserve public safety, who deserve a better education and better health care. It's going to come out of their hides, and you can see why those black communities and Latino communities are so upset.
Ted Dabrowski, President, Wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. Ted, thank you as always.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order.